Why it's hard to know what you want. Why it's hard to know what you want. It feels like it should be the simplest thing in the world. You are you, after all. You live inside your own head. You feel your own feelings, and you navigate your own life. So why is it that when someone asks, "What do you really want?" the answer often feels like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands? You might find yourself staring at a ceiling at 3 a.m., scrolling through job listings for careers you don't actually care about, or standing in a grocery store aisle unable to choose a pasta sauce. It's a distinct, heavy kind of paralysis. We tend to judge ourselves harshly for this. We think we are just being indecisive, flaky, or ungrateful. But the truth is much deeper and far more complex. Not knowing what you want isn't a character flaw. It is a symptom of the modern human condition, a clash between our biology and the overwhelming noise of the world we live in. One of the primary reasons we struggle to identify our true desires is that we have lost the ability to distinguish between what we want and what we have been trained to want. From the moment we are born, we are sponges for mimetic desire. This is a fancy way of saying that we learn what is desirable by watching other people desire things. We see our parents value stability, so we think we want a corporate job. We see our friends chasing travel experiences, so we convince ourselves we have wanderlust. We see influencers prioritizing aesthetics, so we suddenly want a beige living room. We aren't just born with a preset list of passions. We construct them based on the models around us. Over time, these external voices get so loud that they drown out our internal whisper. You might spend a decade climbing a career ladder only to reach the top and realize the view makes you miserable. That wasn't your dream. It was a borrowed dream that you forgot to return. Peeling back these layers to find your authentic self is not just hard work. It's terrifying, because it often requires admitting that much of your current life was built on a blueprint that was never yours. Furthermore, we are living in an era of the paradox of choice. Logically, we think that having more options is better. Freedom means infinite choice, right? But psychologically, infinite choice is a cage. When you have 2 options, you choose the better one and move on. When you have 1,000 options for a partner, a career, a place to live, or a movie to watch, the pressure to pick the perfect one becomes debilitating. We are terrified of opportunity costs. We feel that by choosing one path, we are murdering the 1,000 other potential versions of ourselves. If you choose to be a writer, you kill the version of yourself that was a doctor. If you move to the mountains, you kill the version of yourself that thrived in the city. This fear of mourning our unlived lives keeps us stuck in a state of suspended animation. We don't choose anything because we don't want to lose anything. We float in the hallway of life, staring at the doors, terrified to turn a knob, not realizing that staying in the hallway is a choice in itself, and usually the worst one. There is also a biological trap at play here, the difference between the brain's wanting system and its liking system. Neuroscientifically, these are 2 different circuits. Dopamine drives the wanting. It's the thrill of the chase, the craving, the motivation to get the thing. But once you get the thing, a different system takes over to process the enjoyment or satisfaction. The problem is, our dopamine system is much louder and more aggressive. It screams at us to want the new phone, the promotion, or the relationship. It promises that this is the missing piece. But because dopamine is about the pursuit, not the landing, we often get what we wanted only to feel empty. We confuse the biological itch of craving with the soul-deep resonance of true desire. We spend our lives scratching itches that never go away, assuming we just haven't found the right scratcher yet, rather than realizing we are stuck in a chemical loop that has nothing to do with our genuine happiness. We also have to talk about emotional numbness as a defense mechanism. To know what you want, you have to be able to feel. You need to be connected to your intuition, that gut sensation that says yes or no. However, many of us live in a state of chronic low-grade stress. When you are in survival mode, worried about bills, burnout, politics, or social validation, your brain shuts down the higher-level functions related to self-actualization. You cannot dream when you are busy surviving. Over time, to protect ourselves from pain, disappointment, or exhaustion, we numb out. We stop feeling the lows, but we also lose the ability to feel the highs. When you ask a numb person what they want, they honestly don't know, because their internal compass has been demagnetized. They have been fine for so long that great feels like a foreign language. Finally, there is the sheer terror of responsibility. If you admit what you truly want, you suddenly have something to lose. If you admit you want to be an artist and you fail, it breaks your heart. If you pretend you don't care and just drift through a generic office job, failure doesn't hurt because your heart wasn't in it. Not knowing what you want is a fantastic safety mechanism. It protects you from the vulnerability of trying. It keeps your ego safe. As long as you remain confused, you don't have to risk rejection or failure. You can stay in the realm of potentiality where you are safe, untouched, and ultimately stagnant.